All right, so this is going to be a quick video. There was somebody on Facebook who was asking if somebody could compare Dua Fragrance's Midnight Rendezvous against YSL's new release this year, and that is Bleu Electrique. So I think the reason he was asking was because Midnight Rendezvous from Dua is supposed to resemble the old vintage batches, the 2009 batches of La Nuit. A lot of people at the same time say that the Bleu Electrique kind of, harkens back to the vintage batches, or it resembles the vintage batches more than the modern batches do. So, I understand why the person was asking. I'm going to do a comparison. I've never really compared them side by side. I've smelled both. I obviously own both, and I enjoy both. That said, price wise, this is, I believe, runs you probably about $50, maybe 47, maybe 42 with the best discount. You can get 30% off from Dua for a 30 mil. Whereas kind of the same thing I ran into before in my other video, this is a 60 mil, okay? And you can get this on sale. Macy's has been running sales usually every other month. I got it for 30 something bucks when it first came out, which was a steal. But Macy's has been running sales. I think this runs for about 50 if you wait for one of their sales. I think it's 30 or 40% off. Obviously, this is a better deal at that point. You're paying the same price. You're getting double the amount of juice, and it's the real fragrance. And luckily, Bleu Electrique, fixed a lot of the problems with the newer batches of La Nuit, in the sense that this performs a lot better. Okay, it's not nuclear or anything like that. It's still a very close to the skin scent it's supposed to be. This projects a little more though than the other modern batches do, but the longevity is better. I get about 6 hours out of it, which I can't complain. For the type of scent it is, it's a date night fragrance. You're really supposed to really just kind of wear it during a date anyway. This will last you through that. Given the blue DNA, you can kind of wear it more versatile than you could have otherwise. It is a little different. So really the main difference between the Bleu Electrique and the normal La Nuit are this has ginger in the opening, okay? Bergamot, which weren't in the original one, in addition to the cardamom. So it makes it kind of more just a blue take is what obviously it was supposed to be. It's more kind of has a sparkly citrusy opening that's not present in the regular vintage batches or the regular, even more modern batches of the La Nuit, So the other addition thing is this has geranium in it in the mid. So that's kind of the only other differences in notes. Both have cedar, obviously both have cardamom and everything else and vetiver. But the geranium's also in there. But it doesn't really stand out a whole lot. It really kind of, in the dry down, does just resemble La Nuit. But anyway, we'll go ahead and compare these two. So that's the Dua. That smells good. Here is Bleu Electrique. Also smells good. Again, in the opening, you get a blue, softer, fresher opening than you do in the Dua. The Dua smells less sweet, a lot less sweet. It's a lot woodier. It's still sweet from the cardamom, but it's not as sweet as the Bleu Electrique. Bleu Electrique is quite a bit sweeter, and I've noticed that with the modern batches of La Nuit, they are sweeter. Like for example, Dua's or Alexandria's version, Ombre Noir 2.0, is also sweeter, and the batches that I have with the regular La Nuit are sweeter, certainly than the Duas. Now, that said, they're fairly close in the opening. Again, it takes a minute to get past that kind of blue vibe that the Bleu Electrique gives off. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. Both of them perform well. The Dua, it's a Dua, so it performs well, obviously, because they amp it up with the ISO-E and the Ambroxan. I don't get crazy performance out of it, though. I'd say I get about the same as Bleu Electrique. I get about 6 hours out of it, which is not bad given what the normal modern batches of this do. I also am not somebody who sprays myself 10 to 12 times or anything like that. I do usually about 6 sprays of anything that I'm wearing generally. So, I'm sure some of you get better performance if you with somebody who kind of drenches themselves in fragrances. And I get the same with this. Get about 6 hours out of it. So performance is pretty, on par with each other. This is definitely still sweeter. The Bleu Electrique. This is more woody, less, in my opinion, slightly less seductive because it has a kind of more woody nature about it, like a drier, woodier feel to it. Whereas this is a lot sweeter and fresher. And again, it's still in the opening. As it dries down, it kind of starts getting closer to the old batches. So I'm going to try to wait here a little bit and see if it changes, and how it develops. I will say, speaking about this as a standalone, I think this is absolutely one of the best releases of 2021. Again, it fixed not only the performance issues that a lot of people had with the new batches of La Nuit, but it also adds this kind of just really nice touch to where it's, again, kind of more resembling the older batches. While at the same time, adding something new, something new being the fresh touch with the blue kind of opening that it has. It allows you to slightly wear this in maybe, occasions you wouldn't have otherwise. Now the dry down is going to get to kind of how it was, so, whatever. But I do wear this still. I wear this at work. I've worn this in the office. I have a suit on, so I... at least, I'm dressed kind of like formally, so it's not totally weird when I'm wearing it, but it is, a lot of people say it's a date night fragrance, and it is, so it might be weird to some people, but in the opening, it certainly is more versatile. So some of that blueness is already going away, some of the ginger. It's getting closer. The main differences are Midnight Rendezvous from Dua is slightly woodier, and it's not as sweet. They smell similar. The woodiness kind of gives it a slightly scratchy kind of feel to it, I think. That is not present in this. That said, this is still one of my favorite releases from Dua. I have 2 bottles of it. So those of you who think I'm just a Dua hater, I'm not. But I'm just telling you my experience smelling these fragrances. I think for the price, and given that what these come for on sale, given the performance is good on these, I would wait for a sale and pick this up personally. Now, if you already have Midnight Rendezvous, do you need to go out and get this? No, unless you're a huge YSL fan. I am, so I would, but I did, clearly. But, I don't think, it's not like this is like horrible or this is bad. It smells good. It just has a drier, woodier, less sweet tone to it. I think if you were to have somebody smell them side by side, rate them, if you were want to do one of those street videos, I do think more people would pick this over that. Again, this just smells better blended. Not as it has a slight scratchiness to it because of, I think, the woods, the way they come off in Midnight Rendezvous. You really can't go wrong with either of them, though. But if you don't have either of them and you're deciding what to go for, I'd get the original. I would get, and by the original, I mean the new release, but I would get this. Like I said, it's just all around. It's kind of a wins in every box performance, as well as the scent profile itself, while also adding a new modern touch to it, but still very much focusing on that core DNA that made this so popular and such a good fragrance. That's just my opinion. But again, if you have Midnight Rendezvous, I don't know that you need to really go out and buy this. I don't think you do unless you love it like I do. So, yeah, that's my quick kind of summary. Sorry if I went on a tangent to it, but it's the same thing. Again, this Bleu Electrique is definitely sweeter. It sells smoother, better blended. I mean, the Rendezvous is not as sweet, and it's got this kind of like almost like woodier, slightly scratchier vibe. I think coming from the woods, and